Hi, you guys. I think there's something that a lot of us, I mean, this may not apply to everybody, but a lot of us are in a place of transition. Big life changes. And, in order to move forward with some kind of grace, it involves letting go of something that, we know is over, but we've been fighting that notion. And it's not about admitting defeat. It's about letting the new thing come in. The new thing. Wow. Sun card. Card of Leo. And here we are, on the verge of Leo time. It's a card of happiness and light. Maybe some situation is actually lightening up. There's some sort of revelation on the way. At long last. King of Wands. In that same fire energy as Sun. Somebody who's very confident. Perhaps that there's happiness on the other side. Star card. Star Sun, pretty powerful energies. Perhaps healing on the other side. There's a new understanding of how to access that. How to get there. Wands can be directional. How to regain confidence. That we can do the healing work. Seven of Cups. Well, there's been confusion around that. Maybe there are a lot of options. Okay, whole bunch of them. Knight of Wands. Options about what to do and where to go. In this same fire energy. Somehow confront the confusion. Eight of Wands. There's some kind of energetic exchange happening somewhere in our lives. Maybe moving out of a time of confusion about what to feel about something. What to feel. Two of Cups. What to feel about an important relationship, some important connection. Maybe a relationship you don't want to end. Two of Wands. How do I pick the path? How do I decide what to talk about? How do we agree on what we're going to address in this conversation? Confusion around the connection, perhaps. King of Wands, Knight of Wands. There's forward movement, but also a need to decide, which way do I go? How do I get there? I think that's what the conversation will be about, because there's been confusion around a connection. Judgment. That's like a second chance at happiness. Judgment can speak to second chances, reconciliation, new life. Possibility for forgiveness and happiness in a connection that's been very confusing. Something may be clarified through the conversation. How do we do this? Which way do I go? How do I get there? Can we get there from here? And star is often refers to the guides or guidance. Knowing which path to take. From an overview, it's a card of Aquarius. A clarity about that. Are the guides talking to us? High Priestess. High intuition. Intuitive energy of listening to the guides. They're speaking in a quiet voice, and then suddenly it gets louder, almost amplified by this trumpet, the wake-up call. Five of Cups. How to move on from this sadness or disappointment. Confusion about a connection. Somebody may be quite determined to get a second chance. They have to make some kind of decision. Two of Cups, Two of Wands is for, which in Major Arcana is Emperor. Emperor is Aries energy, Wands energy. Six of Wands. Some kind of success after a conflict. Now I know how to do it. I know the right approach, says this King of Wands. Moving out of confusion. A second chance at happiness. The wake-up call. And this is Knight of Swords. Deciding, sword energy, making a decision about what to say. Perhaps a choice about how to direct this conversation. I think King of Wands wants to take this relationship in a new direction. They have something to say. And this person, their intention, Wands energy, is to head toward happiness. To get out of sadness here. To redirect. To pick a path. that gets us there? Can we get there from here? Seven of Pentacles. Long-term investment. Somebody may have worked long and hard to grow a relationship. Seven of Pentacles, Two of Cups. They want to talk about that. The opportunity for new life. And that, like, it's to bring some sort of relationship back to life, despite the fact that there's been confusion and sadness. Ten of Swords. That's the end to a painful cycle. Now there's a redirection. And the guides are talking to us through our intuition. Star card, High Priestess. First softly, and then louder and louder. Divine Masculine may be getting the message now of how to move forward out of disappointment. Four of Wands. Somebody has invested a long time in this relationship, and then it came to an abrupt and painful ending. Now they're wondering, can this be resurrected? Judgment energy. Can I make the right decision this time? Four of Wands. Can we get there from here? This is a card of the destination. Some sort of reconciliation, of coming together, having a second chance at happiness. Ten of Wands. Well, it's the need to lay down a burden, to travel lightly, to offload a heavy weight. Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands is 20, which in Major Arcana is Judgment, the new life card. People rising up out of the coffin, new life. So, there's an instruction, I think, to lay down the burden and head in that direction toward happiness, toward new life. After confusion about a connection. And I think there's something here about this person doesn't need to understand it in order to move forward. Like they can't think their way through it. Can't think their way through it. Eight of Swords. The thinking mind, the logical mind has been a trap. No more thinking about it. It's time to do it. To move toward happiness. Out of confusion about the connection. And it's almost like putting down the burden of disbelief, of thinking you're stuck. Sword energy, thinking it. There's a second chance at happiness here. A chance to get out of the cage, a chance to put down the burden. And I think the burden principally is regret. Regret over confusion about a connection. This person may finally be getting the wake-up call. Divine Feminine, High Priestess, has been a healing influence in this person's life. You know, but ultimately they have to do the healing themselves. An understanding of who they love. Healing confusion about the connection. That's the message, loud and clear. A chance for forgiveness, reconciliation, and happiness. I like that. Leo in the Sun card, Aquarius in the Star card, Cancer in High Priestess. And Judgment card, the card of new life. A chance for reconciliation. This person has to close out a cycle. Even perhaps something they've invested in a lot over time. And they may be shutting that down, unburdening themselves so they can move on to this, you know, it's some kind of connection with somebody. I think with you, Divine Feminine. They need to take action. They need to talk. 8 of Wands. Okay, that's what I got. I'll see you next time. It goes out to you with love. Okay? Till next time.